I started off with one VA after we hit like 150, 200K. And then all of a sudden, I just hired. Like I outsourced everything. I'm talking Facebook, Google, email. I had a TikTok ad agency. I had a Pinterest ad agency.
Oh, wow.
I had a CRO agency. Like I pretty much outsourced everything. I'm not making as much money as I think I am. My fixed costs were just ridiculous, absolutely insane. You know, we were doing 250, 300K months. My take home was like 2% of that. We're gonna build this thing like an actual brand. You know, I branded the product. I want to exit this brand for hopefully at least 7 figures, whether that's in 2 months from now, 6 months from now. That's kind of the vision. I think after that, I want to take a break for a while from e-com.
Why are you such a strong creative? Like, did you already have prior experience making videos, or did you just pick it up fast?
It's something I just picked up. It's always a skill I've had. Like I've always loved to take pictures, make videos, it's one of those things I just kind of understood, you know, and just knowing what works and how to make the right things. It's just I think I had maybe like an advantage of just like liking the creative side, but it's
Yeah.
something that definitely improved over time, like just like any skill does, you know.
Yeah, definitely. So now for this current brand, are you looking into getting on Amazon, or are you on Amazon already? Like, how are you managing Amazon
So
and Shopify?
yeah, we're actually gonna be on Amazon in a few days. Yeah, we're doing it FBM, so it's like fulfilled by the merchant,
Yeah,
which is my
okay.
3PL, and not FBA, which is Amazon Prime. I would like to be in, you know, Amazon Prime soon, but that's a pretty long process with how many products and variants I have. Um, but they actually have an app that links Amazon to Shopify. So any orders that come through Amazon is going to go to Shopify, and my 3PL will fulfill it.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, that's amazing, man. Now, what does your team look like these days then? Because you went from, basically zero to over 1 million in like half a year almost. How have you expanded your team, or is it still mainly like a one man show?
So that's a very interesting question, and I thought I was the only one in this position who's gone through it. Maybe not, but yeah. So we hit 1 million in about 5 months, 5.5 months. And my thought process when the store was growing was, oh my God, this is my first successful business. I need to do everything I can to grow it and outsource and have a team. And I started off with one VA after we hit like 150, 200K. Um, and then all of a sudden, I just hired. Like I outsourced everything. I'm talking Facebook, Google, email. I had a TikTok ad agency. I had a Pinterest ad agency.
Oh, wow.
I had a CRO agency. Like I pretty much outsourced everything because I think, you know, obviously hindsight's 2020, but in the time period I was in, I was like, I need to make sure I do everything to make sure this business grows. And you know, I've had too many situations where things were almost successes and it didn't
Hmm.
quite, you know, come into fruition. Um, and so that's what I did initially. And that actually, you know, bit me in the butt like 4 or 5 months later when I realized I'm not making as much money as I think I am. And my fixed costs were just ridiculous, like absolutely insane. So yeah, and then I had hired two more VAs. Um, so a couple months ago, I that's when I had the realization that I wasn't you know, we were doing 250, 300K months. My take home was like 2% of that. And that's one of the big mistakes that I made was not being dialed in to my finances.
Mm.
But as of today, we have three VAs, a Google guy, um, a Facebook guy, and that's it. And they're all negotiated as low as possible. So my fixed costs are like drastically different than what they were before.
Nice.
And
That's a good
yeah,
balance.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. That's actually really interesting that you mentioned that, because I think that's like an easy thing to go after, is just outsourcing everything as soon as possible. It sounds like the right move, right? Like free up your time, and it is true. But cash flow is so important, and like if you're not cash flowing and you don't have an intent to exit, then it's like that's a bad cycle, like that's gonna end up pretty badly unless you like sell the business or something. So that's kind of my next question would be, what is your goal with the business now? Is it just to continue to grow? Is it to exit and start something fresh? Or what are your plans now?
I want to sell the business. We hit a year in 2 months and 3 days. Um, when the business really started blowing up and I realized like, I did it.
Yeah.
I finally had, it's finally working. I told myself, I was like, okay, we're gonna build this thing like an actual brand. I branded the product within 3 weeks. Decided to come to the US after 4 months. And the vision kind of became from whatever happens, happens. It went from that to, I want to exit this brand for hopefully at least 7 figures. And that's kind of the goal. Whether that's in 2 months from now, 6 months from now, that's kind of the vision. And I think after that, I want to take a break for a while from ecom.